Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. The translation reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? Brother Nashi, I am a young woman who is aged 25 years old. My name is Chipo, not a real name. This is what me and my mother have been planning. So I grew up in the villages where life was very tough. After my father had passed away, my mother then came to Harare alone. Then she started working until she started selling fruit and veggies. So my mom said that life was very difficult for her because she had to send some money to us, and at the same time, her being in Harare, she needed to take care of herself. She then came and she told us that we were supposed to pack our bags because we were coming to stay with her in Harare. When we came to Harare, I saw that there was no future. We were staying in a small one-roomed house. My mom with 3 of my siblings. We were surrounded by poverty. And I kept on asking myself, when were we going to enjoy life? Sometimes we would go to bed hungry until an opportunity came. My mom then spoke with this other family. They stayed in the suburbs. They were about to leave the country, so they wanted someone who would take care of their house, staying at their house free, rent free, as caretakers. So this was like a big opportunity for us. No, we were no longer going to worry about paying rent. All that we had to do was to work and to look for food. So I also started working as a maid from a very young age. So when we were staying in the suburbs, I can say that life really changed. Then our neighbors, they had their son, whom I will call Tafazwa, not his real name. He was crippled and he was confined to a wheelchair. His family, they were wealthy. Most of his relatives, they are in Europe. I don't want to lie to you. They always treated us with kindness. Whenever I was at home, they would give me some piece jobs. That is how I got so close to the mother. When I will be working, because remember that I was acting up as if I was someone who does not have a boyfriend, yet I was dating married men. So I could not tell anyone that I was dating someone who was married. I never paid much attention to Tafadzwa. He was quiet, always quiet, and I could tell that life was very hard on him. Then one day, when I returned back, because I would go to work from Monday to Friday, then I would return back home on Friday evening. My mom then told me that she wanted to talk to me and she had a proposal. This proposal that changed almost everything. She suggested that I should marry Tafatswa. At first, I was shocked because I did not love him, and I never imagined myself spending the rest of my life with a crippled man in a wheelchair, spending my life with someone that I had no feelings for. But my mother then convinced me that this was our chance to escape poverty, to live a life of comfort, she said, and security. My mother promised me that I will never have to worry about money again, and our future, it was not about my future anymore, but the future of my siblings. Our future will be bright. She said that we were desperate. We are desperate, my child. We are desperate for a better life. These people, they like you. At that time, my mom did not know that I was already dating some rich blessers. She said that you are a very good girl. I know that you have not yet started dating, so just accept this man. We are going to find a way so that this man can tell his mother and he wants to marry you. I agreed. So each and every time when I won't go there, because I used to go and work at my in-laws' house Saturday and Sunday, I made sure that whenever the mother was looking at me, attending to her crippled son, I would treat him right, feeding him, joking with him, and even hugging him, but pretending as if I was in love with him. One Saturday evening, I was called for a family meeting, and my in-laws, they were there. Almost everyone was there. And then they said that they had seen the way that I act around their son. Then they asked me if it was because I loved him. It was time for me to act up, and I started acting as if indeed I was in love with their son. But deep down, I felt like it was really gross dating this guy. Then they said that it was wonderful, that was wonderful, and they wanted to rush the whole process. We got married and they paid a lot of money. My mom used the money to buy a residential stand here in Harare. Right now, she is in the middle of building her house at that residential stand where she bought. So after the wedding, things were as we expected. I was playing the role of a loving wife. In my heart, I had this deep hatred for my husband. He is someone who is kind and gentle, but I cannot bring myself to love him. I feel like I am trapped in a life that is not mine. When we were on our honeymoon, sometimes I would even refuse to sleep with him. I would tell him that I'm not feeling okay. When we returned back to Zim, I continued with one of my ex-boyfriends. I explained my situation to my ex-boyfriend, who was even more than happy that I had chosen him to be the father of my children. So I have since given him one child, and my crippled husband does not know. My mother, when I told her that I can't do this anymore, yes, the money is there. I then said, right now, you have at least a residential stand here in Harare. Once you finish building your house, then I'm going to get a divorce. My mother then said it was fine. She was going to speak with one of her aunties to see if there was any possible way for me to escape this marriage. One day, my mother called me and she said that we had a discussion. I then left my husband in the care of our maid, and I went and I started speaking with my mom. Even at the place where my mom is staying, the rent is being paid for by my in-laws. My mother then suggested that we could free my husband, and we could be free of my husband sooner than we thought. She told me that her auntie had told her that there is another traditional healer who can use a magic mirror to end the life of my husband without leaving any trace at all. When I thought about it, I don't want to lie, it made me to feel really bad, but the promises of freedom and wealth, they were just too tempting for me. We have since decided to go through with it. We went and we visited that traditional healer. First, we went to my mother's auntie's house in the villages, and then the healers told us that he wants me to use some charms, which he gave me. After I had used the charms, that was when he started saying that it is time for us to go to Ireland, my husband. And me and him, we are supposed to go to Ireland, and us going to Ireland, it's not like he will be needed because I have my own visa and he will be having his own visa. So if he dies or if he is still alive, it won't change the fact that I can now go to Ireland with my child on my own. So he said that we need to go there so as to plan a new life. So this was a result of the charms that we were given by that traditional healer. Lately, the traditional healer came to my house, and my mother came. He came with a mirror and he told us that we have to wait for the right moment, at the right moment, because sometimes my husband, he gets so sick, then he has to get admitted into the hospital. So we are waiting for that. So after my husband would have been admitted into the hospital, then we will use the mirror to kill my husband. Now we are just waiting. The visas should come through any day now. Once they do, we will carry out our plan, and then my husband is supposed to die. But as for me, I have been regretting, but my mother has been telling me that I should not worry, because if I go to Ireland, it will pave way for my cousin sisters, my cousin brothers, my siblings. She even said that she never thought that one day she would have the hope of going to Europe, but because of me, she now has hope. She is the one who tells me that we have to go through with this plan. We are just waiting for my husband to fall sick. Once he falls sick, if he gets admitted into the hospital, then we are going to use this charm. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sisters, and that was the translation of the message that she sent to me. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world.